Hola, ¿cómo está? This reading will be in English, though. I used to be able to think in Spanish when I was more fluent with my Spanish. So, if that's something that you need to work on, your language skills, right? There's some apps for that, I hear. I think I tried one called Duolingo. Yeah. So there is a full moon, a strawberry moon coming up, I believe, for the first weekend in June, which explains some of these energies that are flying around. So I thought I would do another reading tonight. I did post a general reading the other day, although it is somewhat specific, and then a Scorpio reading. So if you have Scorpio in your chart, you may want to check that out. But those two readings were somewhat intertwined. So, but this is just going to be for the full moon upcoming. Okay. For the general collective. Using my Grateful Dead cards tonight. You can kind of see there. It's the outside of the deck. And then there are two different figures, actually. So it's kind of nice. Balances out there. Shows representation of the zodiac, I believe, on here in the rib cages. So it comes with a nice, companion book on the Ten of Pentacles on the bottom, FYI. All right, Spirit, let's get some good vibe in. I know some folks are on tour and stuff, and that's cool. I'd love to be able to make some shoes. Unfortunately, some of my local shows this year, I have other things going on, so it's just one of those kind of things. But hoping, I mean, if anything, I could couch tour something, but I know it's not the same. Not quite the same as being there, although I don't know, that stuff they have. Yeah, don't murder me, right, for saying that couch tour is pretty awesome. When you're able to see everybody on stage, and it's kind of fun, and it speaks to your roots, okay, getting down to the ground, the earth of the matter, and that's why these figures are holding on here. They're holding on to something in this overall sense. The devil card is typically not holding on in a good sense, but if you know how to transform that energy, then getting back to your roots isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just remembering. And that's what a lot of times people do when they gather at events like these. And next up, we have the Lovers in the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra has been really coming through interesting for me the last couple days here. So, and that's Gemini also. Capricorn may be significant to you. Definitely some duality of experience is what I'm feeling more here than any specific signs. Some mirroring, perhaps. Ruben and Charisse are on the Lovers card, FYI. And it's an interesting lyrical story. So, it is a song, but it is a story of two lovers. Next up in the solar plexus, we have the storyteller. Yes, just as I was saying. A lot of songs tell stories. Yes, we are making beats and, strumming strings and doing things like that, and tapping into our creative nature. And sometimes that also comes through in a in a lyrical way. It could be in a visual way as well, as just as like this tarot card is this, you know, when they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So maybe you're somebody who doesn't like writing so much. Maybe you're somebody who likes to communicate visually. Maybe you're a visual artist. And that's what is in your strength of your solar plexus and your creativity. I think it's, yeah, Jay Blakesberg is a very famous deadhead photographer, which I have one of his books. And it's very, very nice, very like intimate photography, but concert photography also. But you know, and you when you look at these, you have to think about them in terms of like, this is when you actually had like rolls of film and you had to like go and drop them off somewhere or develop them yourself. Like, you know, digital photography wasn't a thing yet, and seeing the moments being captured so, you know, I hate to say effectively, but, you know, it's just, they really come to life, I guess. Anyway, so bringing that picture into 1,000 words, right? So there is a story behind this creativity that you have, what it is, coming forth here. What is in this heart chakra? Whew, the Two of Swords. Decisions, but remember, indecision is a decision. And that's a lot with the Two of Swords. So sometimes, you know, getting together with our friends and having them kind of review for us like what our options are is a good thing, as long as they are seeing the entire picture. Now, the thing with the Two of Swords also is that sometimes we are actually blind, trying to make this decision. So spirit might be actually telling you here that you need to rely intuitively on your gut, and especially in your heart chakra here. Like, don't be overly emotional, don't be overly logical, but, you know, like lean onto your gut too, in order to make your decisions. And also the way that you want to communicate. So, yeah. You know, that's the thing about the Two of Swords. It's very reserved. It's like, it's almost like a closed throat chakra energy, because there isn't a decision. There isn't communication happening. There are possibilities of communication, but it's not actually happening. And the fact that it's here in the heart chakra is kind of interesting. So we'll see what happens with the rest of this reading. Coming up in the throat, please. Spirits. Only the good ones, right? Yeah. Queen of Cups holding her roses. Yes. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. I just did a reading for Scorpio. So if you're a Scorpio, you might want to check it out. And it even has this little like super like Scorpio. Water may be calling for you. You might be a bird person. You might be a farmer. There's a lot of possibilities here, but it's also the nurturing energy. And so for some of you, that might be words of affirmation, and that includes like self-talk. So that says, you know, like, I'm going to have a productive day today, or I'm going to get some restful sleep tonight, and I'm going to have some peaceful dreams. And, you know, just things like that that should help you shift the attitude in your day. So speaking on those things, the nurturing aspects, not just like, you know, when you think of a Queen of Cups, you might think of, you know, kind of like a woman cradling a baby or something. Like, that there's other ways of nurturing than just doing that, right? So I think this showing up in the throat chakra is saying that if that's something that you aspire to be, something you emulate, that you should be speaking on it and tapping into your Queen of Cups energy more. All right. and kind of like seeing how it's fertile and it's like ready. Okay. Yeah. So kind of like don't waste your moment. Which that reminds me of the movie Hope Floats, where the mom was like, you know, you've had so many chances. Like, how many chances do you think you're gonna get? You know, and then like, and it has Sandra Bullock in it. So I don't want to. And Harry Connick Jr. FI, who I actually met him. Well, he's like one famous person that I met. He was after a performance. Locally, which was like a benefit concert or something, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, I got to, and I guess I got my picture taken. I did get my picture taken with him. I still have never seen that photo though, so I don't know whatever happened. I was so starstruck when I was like, he's way tall too in like person. You know what I mean? A lot of times these, you know, celebrities are a lot shorter. You know, stage actors and folks are a lot, entertainers are a lot shorter. Then, you know, they appear on film or on stage, but he actually is very tall. So it was one of those kind of like, oh, well, hello. You are kind of like this tall cowboy character, you know what I mean? A little bit. So, anywho, enough about Harry Connick Jr., who, FYI, was New Orleans piano, like, prodigy and all that. So, I'd love to get back to New Orleans. I was going to go this year, and then something didn't quite work out. The Page of Cups. Yeah. In the third eye, the like, I would love to be able to, but like, is it going to happen, right? Just like I would have loved to have been able to make it to New Orleans, but it just didn't happen. So I was going to see Kreutzmann with Billy and the Kids and Molly Tuttle. Anywho. Boo-hoo for me, right? Although I did get to see Billy the previous weekend. So the other, you know, that Billy Strings. So with his Billy Strings band boys, including the fiddle player, Alex. So what do we have in the crown for this collective, please? I'm trying to keep it somewhat light for all these energies of the full moon, you know, which can get kind of heavy. The Star, the Fountain on this deck. Now, the air energy, I was just speaking on this in a previous reading, and before I did this reading, I practiced what I preach, and I stepped outside and got some breaths of fresh air. So definitely connect with nature and yourself, and allow, and especially, you know, say you are kind of like a deadhead or you're somebody that's into music, you know, she's holding this, you know, harp here. And so, you know, music might be something that speaks to you, but maybe you hear things like in nature, you know, and music can be all sorts of different things, like even you know, what's the famous musical like Stomp on Broadway, or you know, you know, I mean, there's like different ways of communicating sound. So think about that, and it's interesting I say think about that, but it's already in your crown. So like if that's something that you enjoy, like stick with it, you know what I mean, like stay on your positives. You know, a lot of us are told to work on our flaws, like what's something you need to work on, but you know, really what you get the most benefit out of, and it's actually scientifically proven, I've taken classes and have read about these things, and it's actually, you know, proven to if you focus on your strengths, building your strengths, you'll have more success than focusing on building some of your flaws. So I would take heed of that myself as just some good old-fashioned regular, yeah, Santa circumstance here. Like, this is the Hierophant. Like, this is, like, the old school by the book. Like, that I was just giving you some old school by the book advice. That was nothing, you know, that a tarot card can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, is, you know, it's applying it to your life instead of, you know, like mathematic principles or something that you learn in school, or how to diagram a sentence, okay? So sometimes we just need a little bit more practice is all. Now, before I get too long-winded on this, let's get some clarification. I'm going to stick with the same deck. On this wolf here, these dual figures. So for some of you, you might feel like, you know, it's almost impossible to cut any connections from somebody you're with. And maybe there's some kind of financial burden going on here with the Four of Pentacles that's making you feel like you need to keep something in reserve, is what I'm hearing. Okay, let's confirm on the Lovers card. What do we have? It's like he has a slight smile, though. You know what I mean? It's almost like things could be, you know, I always say I'd rather have, you know, what, 4 pentacles than no pentacles at all, right? Think of it always as, you know, rebuilding yourself in a cycle. And here you go. Here's your ace. Your bolt of lightning to trigger you. And this is in your sacral again. So maybe somebody's giving you that zazazoo. And you're like, hey, this is actually kind of cool. Could be a fire sign. I just did a reading where the King of Wands popped up. So this may be significant to somebody. And if so, go back and check out that reading, please. Like just posted the other day. So, I mean, whoever these lovers are, they're definitely feeling the spark. Like they're feeling the heat. You know, it's kind of like the PG-13, right? Okay, so for this story, oh my God, 10 of Cups, you guys. This is like the storybook romance is happening, okay? And whoever this collective is, you are creating it right now. So whatever lover you're like with or have chosen or is coming to you, so take that kind of as it resonates. Like, again, this is for, you know, I did this reading for the full moon. I don't really do predictions on time unless something kind of specifically comes out in a message, okay? But that's not really something that I do with my reads. So you could consider this to be a timeless read. However, consider the timing of the energy coming on this full moon, the strawberry moon. So with this Two of Swords, please. Okay. I feel like it's like you have to leave something, this whole thing here. You know, it's almost like you're going to get like this heart transplant or something in order to move forward with this story of love. And there's a Queen of Cups here, maybe that's going to help you do it. You or your person. You could, you know, kind of flip the energies. Depends on how your chart is, right? Now, this Page of Swords down here, you know, this is like the gossip card. This could also be kind of like the spying card a little bit. Let's keep going here with this Queen of Cups. I'm not feeling like it's like the collective, though. I feel like it's kind of just this outside energy kind of saying like, hey, what are you up to, almost. I don't know, but you're not playing. Wow. And you're not. Look what did I say about this card? Buy the book. The old school buy the book. And with this Queen of Cups, so maybe this is somebody that you see as like a motherly figure, a nurturing, maybe, somebody who would take care of, their property or their, family or, whatever it is that they possess. Okay. And you're seeing that person that way, not in a, like in a reversal way, in an upright way, which I don't really read reversals. I read just energies off the cards. FYI, Taurus may be significant for your chart. There's a lot of astrological activity with Taurus right now, I believe, too, in like Vedic astrology, which I am not an astrologer. So, but I do recommend that you look up your chart and you also look beyond Western astrology and check out Vedic astrology as well. Now, moving on to the third eye with this other page here. So this Page of Cups, which better than the Page of Swords. I mean, but this one's just kind of like, it's almost like chatter. So maybe this is kind of like I was talking about before, the presenting the options. And maybe this is kind of like, I mean, if you want to discuss it with friends, you know what I mean? Sometimes people say that's a good thing. Sometimes it's, it's not. It depends, who is in your foundation and what do they want for you? Do they want you to stay, the same, or do they want you to kind of move forward? And that might be kind of this huddle energy here that I'm feeling. That is, somewhat of a stagnation where it's like, you're kind of like, I could be maybe happier somewhere else, but I'm also like comfortable here, but then like right beyond in the next step, you have the Lovers with the Ace of Wands. And it's like, that's the explosion of, and it just hit. Yeah. There's some wild angel numbers that are rolling around while I'm recording right now. So we're going to hit 2222. So with this page, please confirm. Let's get some clarity for this collective, please, Spirit. Well, I guess they'll have to take that one. The Eight of Pentacles. This popped out on a previous read as well. So this may be a theme again. It's like, I feel like somebody's been dreaming of giving you this world, but where they're doing it from, is like from this distant shore, right? And really kind of nowhere near you. And it's just kind of like this wistful, it's the Page of Cups. It's, I hate to say a thought, but, sometimes that is something that happens when you have explosive energy. It's not always like good for you energy, right? It could turn into something where communication, isn't done between two people, but it's done like, this is also kind of like the social media card. It's done like outwardly. And then it's like, well, where does that leave these two people? Exactly. And it's just like, they're just kind of like ho-hum and looking in opposite directions and nothing's really happening. And that's, I feel like, why this heart chakra, yeah, it feels empty in there. It's clear. It's like it's clear, but it's like it's empty for these particular characters. So if this is you, something you're resonating with, so you'll know how to interpret that message. So the Eight of Pentacles here again. This is Spirit saying So somebody might see you as wanting to give you all of this, but also, you might be just needing to kind of buckle down, literally, 1, 2, buckle my shoe, right? And and just focus back on, what kind of work makes you happy, and that's gonna lead into this freshness again, this rejuvenation, okay, of this fountain, this Aquarian energy, all right? Yeah, because you've probably gone through this cycle now and you're like, oh shoot, exactly. And then you're like, why am I even on this planet? What is going on? But that's where the connecting with nature is going to help you to understand your role within it. And again, connecting with the music is going to help you, okay? That pelican may be significant, so maybe, or if that's like supposed to be a flamingo, I don't know. There's that song, Hey Santa Flamingo. Is it called Pretty Flamingo? So I was gonna say, if you might be traveling down south, perhaps you might see some of those, exotic water birds. Spirit, what else can we clarify on this fountain for the collective before we close the message, please? Yeah. Okay. 10 of Skulls, sorting it out. Yeah, there's going to be some major healing. The fountain is rejuvenation again, so some major healing needs to take place. Potentially something that kind of, I don't want to say like mess with your head, but the communication was at an all-time, like that's where you end up being like, again, what planet am I on? Because I thought I was here to kind of enjoy myself a little bit, right? And get back to basics with this fountain, okay? And that might be why you have this kind of immature view of like what you were expecting versus reality. So I feel like this is where in the mind's eye and the third eye, it just didn't quite develop like you wanted. And that's why Spirit's saying that you kind of might have to go back to the drawing board a little bit. And that's going to help you. And I want to almost interpret this as the moon because it's the strawberry moon, okay? And how it's coming through is this kind of orangey strawberry color. So, maybe this is something where at night, because it is, going to be hot during the days, like it's summertime, right? Like take some time, maybe just to sit outside, for like 10 minutes or something. And, again, stargaze, moon gaze, breathe, that kind of air, and then start releasing some of these things that have been heaping up and piling up, right? Maybe it's time, maybe your spring cleaning is overdue and then it's just like, well, now I can do this and that's off the list, then this and then this and then, you know what I mean? And then pretty soon it'll be all down again, right? And then you're going to be back to the truth of the matter, which the Ace of Swords came out in the previous read. So that may be significant for somebody. Knight of Pentacles. Yes, slow indeed. Yeah. 9 of Cups. Ooh. All right. We're going to do a... can't remember what this deck is called, but it's an oracle deck. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Work your light. Oracle cards. Okay, hopefully this does doesn't split on me, this recording. I'll try and make it quick. I'm going to finish up this message. Keep it on the lighter side. I feel like that is just one of those things that, especially in order for you to have this sacral healing in the crown, it needs to be healed as well. Okay. All right. Warrior woman, have you answered your deepest calling? Okay. And here's that sword of truth I was talking about. Lord have mercy. So, and there's swords here at the root. Okay. It's like coming up through the back. So it's like, what is the actual truth of the matter holding you here in this foundation? So what is this deepest calling? What is here to make your foundation feel more stable? Okay. Because when you're following your deepest calling, your path, like you should feel like you're doing the right thing, right? You should feel like things are going to work out. Like you shouldn't always be worried about like, oh my gosh, am I making the right decision? You know what I mean? Like gaslighting yourself essentially. So maybe if that's... Tower came out in a previous read, so that might be significant for somebody with this devil card in the foundation. The ever unfolding rose, cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. Yes. Jim Carrey said the same thing. Life happens for you, not to you. Okay. His story is very interesting on YouTube. Talking about growing up and how he kind of just basically manifested his life. So remember, you know, sometimes we talk about the layers of the onion. Well, you could think about, instead of, you know, crying the tears of the onion, you know, the layers of the onion, how about opening something that's a new smell, like a new signal for your senses, okay? And this ever unfolding rose that like, okay, so like, you know, as in this previous reading, I was talking about, you know, when you get the warm and fuzzies. Well, okay, well, if you get the warm and fuzzies when, you know, you eat a piece of peach pie, right? Okay, and then it's like, well, that's something good, right? Like, okay, calories, but like whatever, you know, like live. You can calorie deficit tomorrow or like do some extra crunches or something. And I'm sure or certain you can make it work. Just think about that, like that there's more possibilities, okay? And that's what's happening with the storyteller card here in your solar plexus. One last, please. Get grounded.